3 Lives 3 Worlds, 10 Miles of Peach Blossoms. By Tangqi Gongzi. Translated by Hamster 428. Chapter 3. I circle round and round at corner where Yehua and his son disappeared. After a long while, I see an elegantly dressed woman pacing quickly toward me from the north. That woman's gait is so very light even though she is walking quickly with a pregnant stomach. I take the Po Yun fan out and wonder fleetingly if I can send her from Donghai straight back to Bahai with a wave of my fan on each side. But I put away my fan the moment I see her stomach. She kneels down when she stands before me. I pause a little. She lifts her head to look at me. Tears fill her eyes. She still looks about the same, but her face is much prettier now compared to 50,000 years ago. It may be that she is pregnant, so she's gained some weight. I weigh the options whether people nowadays consider stick bony as pretty or voluptuous as pretty. But after a while I still can't tell. So I keep a mental note not to bring up topics about appearances to keep myself from putting a foot in my mouth. I haven't seen her in so long. Even though I'm still cross, I'm after all an elder and should keep my dignity as long as she stays respectful. Her eyes are still brimmed with twinkling tears. Looking at me, she wipes her tears and calls miserably, "Gugu, mistress/lady." I can't help myself anymore, so I blurt out, "Shaoxin, you've gained weight." Wahahaha. She's a little stupefied. Her cheeks color as she softly caresses her stomach. She stumbles for words. I. Then she realizes what I said was only socializing words and that I hadn't really wanted to ask why she's rounder. She quickly kneels and says, "Because the water from this garden was whirling just a moment ago, I thought it was the Po Yun fan. I thought it'd be you, so I instantly came to see." Just as I guessed, she then cries again. I don't know what she's crying about, but I don't hate it. In the past I'd given her the Po Yun fan to play around with. Her injury had just healed and I worried for her safety. I gave this fan to her and said, "If anyone bullies you, fan him with this fan and he'd fly out of King Kaiu." Even though she'd never used it then, she still treated this fan as a precious treasure, keeping it with her at all time. Only when she left Fox Cave did she leave it behind. Honestly speaking, the cobra race isn't usually pretty when they turn into human form. Shaoxin is an exception. Ever since she was bullied, she was scared for life even after completely recovering in King Kaiu. Back then, no one except fourth brother and I could come near her within a 2-meter radius. Even the popular Migu who treated her very well was shunned. Then one day, perhaps being her first love, she embroidered a fragrance pouch and gave it to my fourth brother. It carried inside countless affections. Yet my blockhead brother took the pouch and gave it to Jian. When he came back he even ran to Shaoxin and told her Jian loved the shape of that pouch, only he didn't like the colors too much. He asked if she could make another one that's more colorful. Shaoxin's eyes were red. From then on Shaoxin became even more guarded, to the point of being easily frightened. Afterward she and Zhangpi ran away. Zhangpi then broke our engagement. Even now I still can't understand how the introvert Shaoxin got close to Zhangpi and ended up running away with him. Fourth brother told me it was simple. Zhangpi saw the pretty and young Shaoxin, so he knocked her unconscious with a club as a result of his momentary lust. Then he threw her into a bag and kidnapped the girl home. Fourth brother Jian then wrote a novel titled Ancient Tale of Love. The book basically reads that their love began after the kidnapping. I sit down on a stone seat nearby and say to her, I didn't think I would meet an old acquaintance the moment I step out of King Kaihu. Shaoxin, you should know I really don't want to see you. You're seeking me out because you need something from me, am I right? I didn't give you a wedding gift when you got married, so I'll give you one now. I'll grant you one wish. Tell me, what is it that you want? She confusedly looks at me. I can guess that you're angry, but why don't you want to see me? She takes 2 steps toward me and says, Milady, you hadn't ever met Tangqi. You also said you wouldn't like him. Your marriage wouldn't bring happiness. But Tangqi loves me and I also love him. Although you lost Tangqi, you gained someone else much better. Lord Yehua is hundreds of times better than Tangqi. He's even the future Heaven King. But me, if I were to lose Tangqi, I would have lost everything. I thought you were wise and generous so you wouldn't be upset at my abrupt departure. Milady, didn't you also want me to live well? This little cobra has gained quite a tongue over the past few thousand years. I ask her, Shaoxin, were you angry at the people who bullied you? Some of them didn't want to hurt you either. But they followed the real bullies because they themselves didn't want any trouble. Can you forgive them, still? She clamps her teeth and shakes her head. Then similarly it's perfectly reasonable if I don't want to see you. Although I'm an immortal, feelings have nothing to do with knowledge. So you see, I'm not as generous as you have said. I'm just about to leave the garden when the little doe hops out from nowhere and grabs my skirt. His fair round face has a disapproving look. Why did you say you're not a wise fairy? You're the wisest in this world, Mom. I give it some thought and at last ask him, are you an earth deity? Yehua appears from behind the coral and approach them. His expression seems different from before. There's a faint smile playing on his lips. He unhurriedly says, Miss, I can't believe you're the immortal Bai Qian from King Kaihu. I almost faint with goosebumps hearing him address me as Miss. Did he just wake up? I quickly deny, I'm 90,000 years older than you, Lord Yehua. Let's go with generational traditions and call me Gugu. Lady/auntie. He grins and replies, Ali calls you mom while I call you auntie. Would that make any sense, Tian? I want to faint on the spot hearing him call me Tian. Shaoxin stays quiet as she watches us. This scene suddenly makes me embarrassed. This feeling of embarrassment hasn't visited me in over 10,000 years. Yet I have to experience it now without being able to do anything. It makes my old-fashioned self a bit moved. I sigh and change topic. You want to reason with me? Then how is it sensible for you two to eavesdrop on our conversation behind that coral? The adult hasn't replied, but the little doe already hugs my knee tightly. He anxiously points to the coral behind the small path and explains, we didn't mean to listen. Father said you were chasing after us, so we came back to find you. We saw you talking to this lady when we got near, so we hid ourselves to wait. He stares at me closely. You chased after us because you still love me and want to come back with us to heaven, right? His conclusion is so far from reality I wanted to shake my head. But his father starts to nod his enthusiastically, that's right. Your mom loves you very much. The little doe cheers and happily looks at me. His eyes shine bright. Mom, when are we returning to heaven? Yehua answers without thinking, tomorrow. The little doe cheers again and continues to look at me with extreme joy. His eyes are becoming brighter and brighter. Mom, are you excited to be home after so long? Yehua doesn't answer this time. I hear myself forcing a laugh as I say, very excited. I never had a change to explain anything. I was chasing after them so they could take me out of this damn garden. Now I'm stuck in this mess. Sheoxin is still kneeling quietly on the floor ever since Yehua appeared. Coincidentally, when I see her gazing at Yehua, I become somewhat infuriated. If Tangqi didn't revoke our engagement, Yehua wouldn't even be the crown prince right now. According to the wheel of retribution, Tangqi deserves what he sowed. But what he reaped was merely a flower. He should have gotten a big karma fruit in my opinion. It's the unfairness that I'm vexed by. My generosity isn't that bad. When I'm about to leave, I drop the Po Yun fan into Sheoxin's hands again and tell her, I'll give you one wish. Go back and think carefully what you want to ask of me. When you've thought it over, come find me in King Kaiu. With this fan Migu won't stop you. The little doe lingers his eyes on the fan as if to say, I want it too. I stroke his head, little kid, don't fancy that dangerous weapon. I take from my sleeve a piece of candy and drops it into his mouth. When we reach the exit of the garden, I determine I wouldn't be a good idea to show up together with Yehua. So I bring my hand up to say goodbye, but the little doe instantly expresses displeasure. I do feel bad, so I unwillingly reassure him, I have some business to attend to now, but I'll definitely come to you guys tomorrow. The little doe pouts, but he seems to understand, so he goes over to pinky promise with me. Yehua laughs next to me and says, isn't it because you're afraid of coming in together and running into gossip mongers? I feel caught, so I laugh to cover myself. Lord Yehua, you're exaggerating. His smile is incomprehensible. His appearance right now is somewhat similar to the way Moiwan looked in the past. I was dazed by his smile for a while before he pulls on my hand and says, Tian, we both know we've been long betrothed. Why do we even need to be so cautious? His beautiful fingers are long and slender, shaking my hand carelessly. His genteel expression, his honorable gestures. His looks right now compared to his looks when he took off my silk ribbon is completely different. I've tasted all the flavors in life to know a promise between two people doesn't mean much. On top of that, my situation is a bit special. I may seem undiscriminating, but how can I accept the fact that he was born when I was already 90,000 years old? Marrying him would be committing a big crime. But if I pull my hand away right now, it would show that I'm not very considerate. After thinking for a while, I bring my right hand up to stroke his hair and appear to care for him deeply while lamenting, when your second uncle and I were engaged, you weren't even born yet. But look at how big you've grown. Time sure flies, it really doesn't leave anyone outside of its grasp. While he is still flabbergasted, I take the chance to pull my hand back and walk away. Life is always full of surprises. I haven't gone for 3 steps when a red-faced Dong Haishuijin charges down from above like a glowing red column. He descends straight at me and yells out, "Stop!" His stop doesn't make any sense. The only path there is has been blocked by him. Even if I turn into a mosquito, I wouldn't be able to pass, let alone staying in my human form. I back away 2 steps and give him a heartfelt compliment. Lord, what superior skills you possess. Had I gone 1 step further I would have been squashed by you. His rectangular face resembles a coral branch at first glance. He greets Yehoah and the little doe then turns to look at me. With his aged face and trembling eyes, he asks, "What have I done to offend you? Why did take your anger out on my garden, especially during our celebration?" I become thoroughly embarrassed. I've been found out after all. Yehoah stands nearby and looks on with aloof eyes as he softly strokes the little doe's long hair. I'm at most an accomplice, but I can't hand the little doe over since he calls me stepmom. So I suppress my grievance and apologize. But I become curious as to how he knows I was the one to destroy his garden. My curiosity gets the better of me, so I end up asking him. Tangqi Gongzi becomes so angry his hair sticks up. He points his finger at me, stammering for a while before resuming calm. You still want to deny it? The coral fairy in my home saw with his own eyes that the wind was caused by a small fairy in green. Who can it be if not you? I look down on my green outfit and turn to look at the green outfit on the little doe who's holding Yehoah's hand. Tangqi Gongzi might have misunderstood the word small fairy from one meaning to the other. Small can mean small in size or it can mean low rank. The little doe is Yehoah's son, Tianjun's great-grandson. Of course his rank isn't low. On the other hand, the way I dress doesn't look like a high deity at all. Tangqi points to a deer and calls it a horse just so he can look for a scapegoat. It's fairly understandable. It was my fault to begin with anyway. I only brought him trouble even though I was invited here as a guest. Tangqi shows zero patience. His 2 eyes are flaming red. I call to mind the way my niece Fangju looks when she gets into trouble and copy it exactly the same. I lower my eyes pitifully and say, "Me Lord is right. I normally stay at Shili Tao Hua. This is the first time I left home and already I've caused so much trouble. Not only did I destroy your garden, I also brought disgrace to Master Jian. Please give me my punishment, for I am truly ashamed." Yehoah glances at me with humored gleams in his eyes. If I'm going to embarrass someone, it's better to use Jian's name than my own parents. When we were younger, 4th brother and I would always use Jian's name when we went out and caused troubles. Jian would only laugh it off no matter how serious it was. But if it had been my father, he'd probably skin our fox hinds off. Tangqi Gongzi looks at me confusedly. The master from Shili Tao Hua is. He holds his breath as he tries to avoid saying Jian's name. I bring out a bright red night pearl and the wine bottle I prepared earlier. I know it's hard for you to believe. My master hasn't been in contact with anyone for many thousand years. This time Lady Bai Tian from King Kaihu came to visit the peach orchard and unfortunately fell ill. But since she already accepted your invitation, she asked me to come in her place instead. These are her gifts. I'm so sorry I caused you so much trouble. My tears are about to fall when Tangqi Gongzi hastily calms me down. It was my fault to not welcome you even though you've traveled from so far a distance. This is merely a garden. What you did helped make the place brighter. Please come in with me and have some wine. I naturally finds all kinds of reasons to decline, and he naturally keeps on insisting that I come. Yehoah nears us and holds onto my hand while casually saying, "It's only a cup of wine, there's no need to be polite. I'm sweating behind my back. I point to my right hand that is held tightly by Yehua and say to Donghai Shuahun, I'm actually a man in woman's clothings. Donghai widens his eyes and mouth, looks for words, then says, same-sex love is deep indeed. I thought people would be wary of homosexual relationships. But I didn't think these immortals are so open-minded now. Even if I jump into the Yellow River, I still won't be able to wash away my grievance this time. End of chapter 3.